morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this Link to the Past Randomizer daily race here on Speed Gaming number 3. We have ourselves an open race with Professor Pixie and Floppy Bacon as our restream runners. My name is Professor Render, and joining me in the booth is my co-commentator, Slumberjack. How you doing?
Hey, doing all right. Glad to be here just after the New Year's stream that we just had. Happy New Year to anyone who wasn't here for that. And cool, I'm ready for a really fun race. How about you?
Yeah, again, Happy New Year to everyone. This is going to be the first race of 2021. So this is the first daily race of 2021. So this is going to be pretty exciting. We're kicking off with some really good runners here.
Yep. And for anyone who's not in the know, who's maybe new to this is an open seed, which is, it's kind of like the, I don't want to say the most basic, but oh, we're off to the races. So let's just jump right into it.
Simultaneous glove pickups for both Professor Pixie and Floppy Bacon. And we're going to get our first map check. We have a red crystal at Eastern Palace, and the others are just standard crystals.
That's what it looked like to me as well. We're going to get a little bit of a tree pull check here. Ooh. Some good old 20 roops.
Tier
So
1 pull.
Yeah. So we'll potentially see our runners farming that a little bit when they get around to doing the crab up in the upper left.
And we have more 20 rupees in the chest in the secret hideouts.
Just a key in the sanctuary.
Dark Cross Key and Sanctuary. And Professor Pixie does confirm that there is a crystal on Desert Palace. I wanted to make sure I had that right.
I should also mention, while we're not doing any checks at the moment, Link to the Past Ken is our tracker for today. So thank you very much to him for putting in the time and work. It's often an unsung hero kind of job. So thank you very much, Link to the Past Ken.
We also get bombs from out of the hoarder. That's always a nice sign. And Floppy Bacon double backing to see what the item on the lumberjack was, just 20 rupees. So we're not gonna kill Ega 1 just for that.
I don't know, they can get pretty spicy sometimes.
Get a 50 rupees out of the mushroom spot. And Floppy Bacon's opting to get more bombs from out of the hoarder, considering that they do drop bombs.
Nice early bottle, which will make routing in Kakariko a little smoother so they don't have to backtrack to Sick Kid later on in the seed.
Yeah, finding bottles pretty early does let you do pretty much clear up almost the entirety of Kakariko, save for the mushroom, or not the mushroom, the powder down there towards the east side.
Yep, the magic bat.
Yep. So Professor Pixie is going to head over into Kakariko. She can find quite a lot of things here.
This is where we truly begin to see how the seed is going to start to form. Nothing yet. Good money though.
We'll take money. And there's our magic powder. Just need a hammer to get the magic bats.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's one piece of the puzzle to do all of Kakariko. What do we got in the well? Alright. Magic Boomerang gives us a means to check our stun prize, and an ether.
Now with the quick swap, this is actually having boomerangs is actually nice, considering you could just quick swap to the boomerang and do stun enemies a lot quicker than normally. And also the red boomerang is nice if you want to do some splash deletion shenanigans.
Oh, that is true, yeah. I mean, we certainly haven't had trouble finding money so far. We're not at Zora money just yet, but... Well, I guess, you know, doing Houlihan, we can get there.
You get an extra 225 rupees from the Houlihan room.
Alright, Sick Kid, what do you got for us today? Oh!
Well, we're going to the magic bats.
Never have to come back here again, I'm sure of it. I mean, we'll have to pass through, but...
All the checks have been taken care of.
Oh, that's very true, chat. Yeah, if we still need the flute. I guess we'll have to come back to town for that.
Floppy Bacon showing off some little extra dialogue box for us with the snips.
Now, did I miss it, or did Professor Pixie skip Magic Bat?
She did skip magic bats. Interesting call.
The worst call is just a piece of heart. There's a sword.
And this was a blind check too. Normally I would probably just look at the item first and then just get out, but she does get her blind check does pay off getting a sword there.
Now, how often do you like to do the blind check?
As of late, really, I haven't really been doing it a whole lot, mostly just so I can play more of aggression.
I never do it. I'm too lazy. Early?
So Pixie is...
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, this isn't a bad idea by any means. She does go over to Akina, which is a nice call. Not opting to go and check out the desert ledge, which makes sense since she doesn't have any boots to make that check a little bit quicker.
Yeah. I mean, it's randomizer. This early on, there's no wrong call, because you can get 300 rupees out of it. There's your Zora money. You know, that could have been Moon Pearl.
Case. Yeah, well, in Pixie's case, she doesn't. She still needs a bit more rupees, but if Floppy Bacon does head over to Gina's cave, that will be Zora money.
Looks like they're going to reconvene in just a moment.
So Floppy's going to check the sunken treasure first, while Pixie is opting to go and look at the floodgate chest by itself. It didn't have magic.
Half magic makes this a much cozier seed, makes certain dungeons much easier to do, such as Ice Palace and Skullwoods.
And early half magic is nice too, just in general. because you get a refill right out of the gate. You also get and we also have, since we have our ether, we can actually take care of the mini Moldorms in one go just by just using our ether medallion to defeat them.
Unless you just like stabbing things. That is a fair game plan as well. Which they both seem to love. Oh hey, Eastern Palace.
Yep, because that was the lamp and the bow. That pretty much makes Eastern Palace all in logic.
Yeah, I kind of like Floppy's play of just going immediately, oh hey, Eastern Palace, and off they go.
Yeah, this definitely is the right move for Floppy Bacon. He does leave out the Ice Rod Cave, which Professor Pixie, excuse me, is going to check for herself.
Yeah, and again, not the wrong call. It's a gamble. It's much easier to come back here when you have boots or flute, because it's so isolated by itself. But if there's something really good in here, then like A+ check. Oh, there's a flute. Speaking of which.
So Pixie gets 20 rupees out of Ice Rod Cave. So Floppy Bacon should be okay if he doesn't go back.
Oh yes, and there was a shovel also in there. Saha's closet. So I guess we do have to go back to Kakariko one last time.
I mean, well, I already said this too, but all the checks have already been cleared out, so it's not not too much of a concern. All you really gotta do is
Yeah.
activate your flute and you're good to go.
Ooh, that's always a wonderful find to get early. Cane of Samaria. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not immediately useful because you really only need it for Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, but it's a nice peace of mind item to have, because now you know you can route things like Swamp Palace or Ice Palace a lot quicker when it comes time to do them.
And especially Ice Palace, consider we do have Icebreaker available to our runners.
Yes, Icebreaker. Professor Ender, do you want to explain what Icebreaker is for chat?
Oh, okay. So, since Professor Pixie just got her Cane of Samaria, I may as well mention this. This is something that we like to call a door state extension, where you're tricking the game into essentially extending the door state where you can push in a certain direction based on what based on where you're are on the door. So if it's a door from that goes left to right, up or down will push you out of the door. By tricking the game into thinking that you're in a door and doing by just having the Cane of Samaria, something blocking like the Cane of Samaria, you can clip through walls and stuff.
Yeah. Both of our runners, I'm pretty sure, know how to do it. But yeah, Cane of Samaria is the Cane of Glitches, and when it comes down to it, the very layman's terms of it is you're going to see them push a block down, and they're just going to walk through a wall. The pushing animation, and it's really cool when you see it. And we almost definitely will, assuming Ice Palace isn't a pendant dungeon. I haven't seen anything else too interesting in here so far. Just watching them go about Eastern Palace.
But yeah, the thing is, the icebreaker definitely is nice because it cuts down a lot of time on icebreaker, and it definitely makes the dungeon a lot more tolerable than it was prior, where you had to use an ice palace bomb jump. And it was probably one of the most important tricks to learn prior to icebreaker being discovered.
Yeah, I remember learning Ice Palace Bomb Jump before, like, Icebreaker was, like, allowed at all, and, like, what a pain that one was to learn. Icebreaker is much easier and friendlier. Took me maybe, like, 15 minutes of just, like, doing it over and over again to learn it. After that, I had it. If you enjoy speedrunning and haven't had a chance to learn that one, really, it's really easy. You can just look up a video online and have it ready to go in your repertoire in about 15-20 minutes.
So Floppy Bacon's opting to pull the hammer.
I think they ran out of arrows, which happens. He may have missed the 20 arrows in the room before.
But it will be first blood for Floppy Bacon at around the just nearly the 16-minute mark.
All right, Floppy, where are you going? Professor
Confident
Pixie.
to say this is a mountain.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say Professor Pixie refilling her arrows before going to the fight, so we shouldn't see. Oh, we shouldn't see the arrow depletion problem.
She was looking to set up for the Armos quick kill, but got hit by an Armos Knight, so has to do things a little bit difficult. Ooh, hello, there's the flippers.
Just put a couple things into logic. Zora was already in logic because we have the gloves, but that does put Waterfall and Hobo into logic as well. So now we can wrap all of those together in a nice bow. The Floppy also making use of that key we found in Sanctuary to also just get Dark Cross out of the way while we're here.
You actually bring something up when you mentioned that Zora is in logic. The logic never expects is never locks behind. Oh, hello, that's the moon girl.
Hey! Go on, continue.
But rupees do not play a factor in the logic whatsoever. It just expects you to get the logic. Just expects you to get to the Zora area, and that's it.
I mean, there's always pretty much enough rupees available somewhere. It's not always going to be somewhere nice, because there's definitely been races where I see people hopping in and out of Blind's hut for about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, just gathering 30 rupees at a time. It does happen, but it's not super common, and most people would rather go to Aga before doing that.
As we're talking about that, we do see Professor Pixie activating her flute, and she does make her way back over to the magic bat, so she will get a heart piece from this.
Hey, and now we've got the magic bat from Professor Pixie. Floppy hasn't been to desert area yet, so it'll be curious to see if they go to mountain or desert. But my money would be on mountain.
Well, they do have Dark World access, so
Oh yeah.
Floppy Bacon could also head over to Village of Outcasts.
to
seeing
4.
Okay, that also works too. We're seeing a mushroom turn-in from Professor Pixie.
Ooh. As some other commentators like to call it literacy.
There's our Dark World map check. There's a red crystal at Thieves Town. We have a pendant on Eastern Turtle Rock. Excuse me. I believe I saw a green pendant on Swamp, and I also saw another pendant on Ice Palace.
I was watching where Professor Pixie was going, which is desert, which is both a crystal and, as our tracker is pointing out, you can clear pretty much all. Well, depends if we need boots or not. We're gonna find out if we can actually beat desert.
Also, from out of High Cave, we got the Quake Medallion and the Silver Arrows.
Oh, as chat is pointing out, boots were on desert ledge, so yep, desert is for sure beatable.
Which is nice. You don't have to rely on the boots, having the boots anywhere close by if the desert were to be boots locked.
Watching Bacon go about their business, it looks like they are going to prioritize the Dark World, which makes me worry a little bit that they may put off checking Mushroom for a little while. It would definitely point them towards getting those boots.
And especially considering, too, that that's our only way of getting into desert.
At least until we find our mitts. That's true.
And
if
mirror.
we find our mitts, then good. Oh, and mirror. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe a while.
And for all we know, we don't know what's on the we don't know what's on the tablets either. Okay, we're gonna see Floppy Bacon go into Thieves Town. It'll be our first Dark World dungeon that we're going to be going into.
One item. We're looking for 4 items in total. There are 8 checks possible here in Thieves Town. And what we're hoping for is most of them going to be like in the front, so we don't have to worry about maybe doing the big chest check or anything like that. But one of these 4 in the front is guaranteed to at least be the big key. Chat, already wondering what's going to be on the pedestal. Disappointment for you or for the runners? That's to be determined.
We have quite a number of things on pedestal. We know it can't be the ice rod. We know it can't be the hook shot. Mirror. And we can't. It can't also be the fire rod too. So none of the rods or hook shots or mirror.
I mean, how many checks can you do without the fire rod in Turtle Rock before you get locked out? Because you're losing those 2 checks on the right. You can get those 2 first small keys, potentially. Who knows? We're about to see a Landmo fight, so let's not worry about that for now.
So this will mostly be a for the most part energy like vanilla fights here. Obviously, we also have our energy equipment and for that.
Now, did I miss a silver pickup from Professor Pixie at some point? Okay,
She has
yeah.
not been to the Dark World yet.
There we go. I was curious about that lack of silver usage as well.
Okay, we're gonna see a mountain climb. Now for Pixie, she needs to head back over to the Dark Cross. Now we can actually go two different ways. We can either go to from the back or to the front, and we'll still get the moon pearl out of the way. It's the entirety of the castle isn't logic. We get a master sword off of the old off the old man. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, as far as we know, she can go through the front and just work her way all the way to the back. We already had that small key, so she can pick whatever direction she wants. Getting a blind fight from Floppy. Let's see if we can get a good little script out of this. Looks like they're setting up for it.
Yeah, for this fight is scripted if you know where to if you do the same motions every single time, it will always be scripted. It looks like Floppy is slightly off script.
Yeah, they bumped blind a little bit too early there. But it doesn't matter. Clean fight. We're off to the races. Thieves Town down.
So that will be Floppy Bacon's second crystal.
We're gonna get our first look at Hyrule Castle here. Or at least the front of it.
Eventually, Pixie will come across the Moon Pearl if she continues forward into Dark Cross.
Yeah, chat, you were correct. Pixie does have the boots, and I think she may have just forgotten about them, which I do all the time. So, it happens. But she definitely does have the boots because she cleared desert where it was required to have them.
Yeah, the boots save a lot of time if you have it. Just by the fact you're able to just run all around both Light World and Dark World, and also all the dungeons if you have a straight line ahead of you.
Got on Shuttle Game. Guess that was the prize, was good old 20 rupees. Both runners at this point having master swords from different locations.
Goes on out of Thieves Town, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. And Professor Pixie opts to take a Death Warp.
Professor Pixie finally going to pick up her Moon Pearl. We'll see if she continues towards the back, but I think it would be quicker if she just saved and quit and then just went through Sanctuary route instead, but I could be wrong. Wow, we have an early big bomb check coming from Floppy here. Only 29 minutes in.
Yeah, that turned out to be Thieves. Yeah, Thieves Town was our red crystal, so that this is right. Now this will lead Floppy over to Pod. Just 20 rupees on the Pyramid Ledge. And the Pyramid Fairy will have for us a cape. So that does open up the Spike Cave.
Yeah, Spike Cave, and I don't think... Did we check out what Bumper Cave Ledge was yet, or no? I can't imagine we did.
I don't think we did.
Yeah. I think Floppy gunned straight for Thieves Town and then South Dark World. Professor Pixie, remembering she has boots, doing some boot checks.
And I can confirm that Pod is a crystal, and it ended up being with Skullwoods, or not Skullwoods, Ice Palace being a pendant. So this route's really nice for Floppy.
Yeah, Pod is
checks
one
from.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Pixie is going to do some flipper checks, and that will lead over to Zora. So you were saying something about Pod?
Yeah, Pod is one of those places I personally try to put off for as long as possible, given the number of checks ratio to like the number of items you get, and just how like without mirror how secluded it can be. So yeah, this works out super well for Floppy. That like they can just get it out of the way. Eastern's already done. Like this is the time to do it.
Yeah, and also it's one of the more a pretty notable example of key logic with Floppy Bacon being in Pod. You can use typically key logic means you can use up your keys in a certain way, but it will still expect you to clear the dungeon out of the way, so you won't ever get soft locked. In the case of Turtle Rock, you could actually find a minimum of 4 keys, if I'm remembering this right.
There are 4 keys total in Turtle
In the
Rock.
front?
Yep. Or
In the
so
front.
in Pod. In Pod, there's a minimum of 4, but isn't limited to that.
We also see a hook shot from Professor Pixie coming out of the Waterfall Fairy.
Ooh, a hook shot. That can point you in all sorts of directions. That could be our first look at East Side Mountain. And we're just a mirror away from a potential Swamp Palace dip, although I don't think either of our runners want to do that right now.
It is a pendant.
Yeah.
And if I remember this right, it was also a green pendant.
It
And
is.
we hit a single arrow from out of the Zora.
So it looks like Floppy has found at least 4 keys already in the front.
Yeah, you can find a minimum of 4 keys. I've seen keys go up to 5, and I've also seen cases where you could find all 6 keys at the front, no matter what. Although it's pretty rare to see that.
Yeah, and having an understanding as a runner of how the key logic works becomes super important in other modes such as like key sanity, where having a certain number of keys put certain chests in the dungeon into logic. So you have, for example, the big key chest or harmless hellway in the back. Those are always going to be locked logically unless there are 6 keys available somewhere in the world to you at that time.
There's the Titan's Mitts out of the bottom 2 in Paradox Cave.
Very good place to find them because now Professor Pixie can just drop on down and then continue back up. Well, she'll probably do a combination of Hera or Spiral Cave before dropping down to do the Dark Death Mountain checks. But now she can route them all in together, especially since she has the hook shot.
And over on Floppy Bacon's side, we actually do have all 6 keys in hand, meaning that there is going to be something in the harmless hellway.
Good eye. Just a little love.
Generally, my rule of thumb when it comes to recognizing whether or not there's an item in the harmless hellway is if I have 3 keys after I come out of the dark basement, then I know there's something out of
Yep.
there's something in harmless hellway.
Yeah, I do something very similar to that. Yeah. But that is a surefire way to know, yeah, I have to go into harmless hellway. It's not the worst if you make a mistake and like check it on accident, like it's what, like 5 seconds to hop in and hop out or something like that, but oh, a fire rod.
From the ether tablets. This road is definitely looking really nice for Professor Pixie.
Yeah, I'm looking at like what they have to do and what's left for them, and we're getting close to them being able to do like whatever they want because Mit's Samaria lamp, that gives them Misery Mire if it's ether tablet or ether to unlock it. Turtle Rock is edging ever so closely with just an ice rod somewhere in the distance. Hopefully this doesn't become an ice rod hunt.
Okay, I looked back at my playback. I just noticed that Floppy did get a. Oh no, okay. That was a hard container, and it wasn't the same card, so it didn't. He actually bombed himself. So okay, never mind. I thought it was something crazy where he opted to actually end up skipping the refill.
Oh. Professor Pixie opting not to do Harapot, and I don't know if that's just by choice or because she has all the ingredients necessary to make it happen with the boots and the hook shot.
My hunch is that she may not be entirely comfortable with doing the Herapots. That's why she didn't do it.
It happens.
So this will be a Moldorm fight, just 3 spins with the Master Sword and you'll be good to go.
As Moldorm goes down, we've got King Helmasaur on the other side with Floppy. 17 hits to the face with the hammer, and then probably just a single arrow to the face.
Definitely a single arrow to the crystal.
And boop! He gone. Oh, did we just get a mirror off of Moldorm?
That was actually I believe that was a and I saw a heart piece on Moldorm.
Chat is saying a mirror. Where's the mirror coming into play? What did I miss?
Oh, so it actually turns out that Scream Pen's on Ice Palace, not Swamp.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty quick. So, actually, I was referring to the mirror in the sense that it could possibly need that for Swamp. But since I realized that
Oh.
it's just since it is just a pendant, I don't think we don't necessarily need that.
It does look like we've hit the point in the race where they are starting to cover each other's tracks, so we're going to be seeing a lot of similar checks coming from both of these runners. Professor Pixie, did you not do Dark Death Mountain or Spiral Cave? Is all that skipped?
Ooh, that could turn out to be pretty spicy in the end.
I don't know about you, but I hate climbing the mountain over and over again. I'd want to get that all done right here and now. It's like, especially when they have, or at least Floppy has cave. So Floppy will have the option of doing either Spike Cave or Spiral Cave. Although I think Spiral Cave will probably wrap much more neatly into doing Dark World checks since it puts you right down by the portal. But like anytime I go up the mountain, I try to do at least one of those two. Nope, proving me wrong, going straight into Spike Cave. They'll just save and quit and just start from the bottom of the mountain again.
So as far as the Ped situation is concerned, I think the only way that Ped could still be alive is if Meyer is not either Ether or Quake, and also if Turtle Rock is not the same medallion as Meyer, which in this case would be Bombos.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, Floppy doesn't have the hook shot. That's right. Good call, chat. There's a lot of you and 2 of us, so... Bombos, Meyer, and Ped. These runners are out here putting a good show on for you, and you wish that upon them? Speaking of our runners, follow. And if you want, you can follow us too, but give the runners a follow. They're the ones out there putting in the work.
Yeah, shout out to Link to the Past Ken for being our tracker as well. I've always said this before, but trackers are the unsung heroes of these restreams. Without them, we wouldn't have the lights on here. So definitely give a shout out to, we give special thanks to Ken for keeping us up to date. And also, again, I'm Professor Render, and my co-comment Slumberjack. Please give us a follow as well. We do a lot of things on our own channels. But either way, Floppy Bacon is going over to the desert area.
Imagine they saw the boots, so looks like we'll finally have that going for him pretty soon.
So if you're Professor Pixie, you're hoping to see the ice rod, and hoping that you still have Meyer. If Meyer is Ether. I think I don't know if okay. Also, yeah, that's right. Professor Pixie has not went over to Hype Cave because she just doesn't have her Quake and Silver Arrows.
I'm actually surprised Professor Pixie hasn't been over to Meyer area yet, because like once you get Flute and Mitz, like that's a really good like quick easy checks and like a good bit of information to have, so you know when to go over there. And a spicy blind fight, but she pulls through.
Yeah, cutting it a little bit close there. If she had died, she wouldn't have access to the script. And also, I think it looks like she also ended up having a little bit of trouble with the script as well. So actually, for all intents and purposes, after she could actually head over to the Meyer area now and figure out what the Meyer medallion is, because I believe so as long as Meyer is not Bombos, we're in go mode. If I'm reading this right.
Oh yeah, because Turtle Rock ended up being appended, didn't it? Huh. Yeah, if it's Ether, Dreamire, Skullwood, Odd, yeah, then she is off to the races.
Yeah, and she will probably get the Quake from she'll probably get the Quake from Hype Cave eventually. There's the other sword that we were talking about with the tempered. That was actually out of the brewery.
Good eye catching that. Floppy finally getting his boots. Interesting choice by Professor Pixie going into the front first. Most runners like to go straight to Mothula with the fire rod, especially when you don't have the mirror, because then you can backtrack through the dungeon after you do Mothula to find your potentially second item, rather than clear everything out in the front only to find out there's an item on Mothula. But there's one item, so maybe she'll find the second and just go straight to Mothula from there.
With 11 hearts and a half magic and fire rod, and also tempered, I don't expect Professor Pixie to have any problems with Moth.
No, half magic, fire rod, tempered sword, 11 hearts. She's good to go.
She's actually opting to take the Wallmaster instead of having to burn the key on the door in Pinball Room.
Yeah, she went for the first grab and just missed it by a hair, so yeah, she just camped out waiting for that second one. Saving that key does make routing the back end of it a little bit quicker, so not a bad call at all. Some good jukes between those Southos.
We're going to see another Lambo fight, this time with silver arrows.
This time with silver arrows and tempered, so this might go a little bit quicker. I could be wrong though. I could still be wrong. Okay, no, we're fine.
Yeah, just doesn't make it the the zero cycle here, because Jen ended up the Wallmaster ended up, or not Wallmaster, sorry, the Lamolas opted to have a different pattern than it was for Floppy Bacon, so got out of the way of the silver arrow shot.
Very interesting strat for Professor Pixie. A lot of people like to just charge through that room with the Gibdos on the bottom. She went up onto the upper bridge and used that to jump down, so she wouldn't have to deal with any of the spikes or Gibdos down below.
Yeah, this is something you don't normally see. It actually is interesting too. She opted not to take a Death Warp. She is on green mail, so the Gibdos will take 2 hearts of damage.
Both of these runners, to answer chat, I believe are both quite experienced. They know what they're doing. Spooky Wall Master. There's our hook shot for Floppy. Floppy's got a lot of more options available to them now. And I'm assuming Professor Pixie is going back the way she came because she didn't find a second item yet. She gets the big key and that's what she's checking out now?
My hunch is that, yeah, this is the case. She's heading out.
Is she maybe going to... She did Thieves Tunnel. Oh, she hasn't done South Dark World yet, has she?
No, she never went to
Okay.
Hive Cave.
Yep. I also like how they're both playing as Final Fantasy characters. It's not relevant to like the game we're actually watching right now, but like, I appreciate it.
Yes, Professor Pixie actually had to look this up. She's playing a Squall from Final Fantasy VIII.
And Floppy is good old Shadow from Final Fantasy VI. Good old emo boy. I guess they're both emo in their own ways, when you think about it. Ooh.
Yeah, we have a... Was it the flippers for Floppy? Or no, wait. Those mitts, yeah. We had the
It
mix
was
out of
mitts
the
on
bottom
Floppy,
too.
but I was noticing that Professor Pixie picked up the little frog friend.
Oh yeah, she is taking Pixie on a world tour, right? Wasn't curious what you were going to about. Makes sense. She doesn't have the mirror, and the only
does make it
best
quick.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense if she does a world tour here, but she will get the Quake and Silver Arrows on a Hype Cave. Meanwhile, Floppy will be getting the Fire Rod. Now, this will be a pretty much a big decision for Floppy. Now, does Floppy opt to go over to... Does he opt to go to Hera, or not, excuse me, Meyer, the Meyer area, after he's cleared up Hera?
Yeah, or does he do Eastside Dark Death Mountain, which we haven't seen yet, I don't believe.
Yeah, if we find out a Bombos medallion out of Dark Death Mountain, that will put him in go mode. Since we're not reliant on another, we're not relying on a medallion here.
Exactly. I think we're going for some hook speed strats for our
Almost
Hera
had
pot. Can you get soft locked using this method?
If you can get soft locked, I believe, if you do end up if you don't end up hitting left and do an upright instead, because you will get soft locked either way.
Because it seemed like they almost had it, and then I was like, oh no, and then they were fine.
So for Floppy, this is going to be a a one and done for Moldorm. Just a spin and a slash, and you're good to go.
Professor Pixie choosing to finish up the blacksmith chain. And hammer pegs. They are right there. We're finally getting our Meyer check, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, So this will determine whether or not we are in go mode, or if not, then we will have to find out whether or not we'll have to find a Bombo somewhere.
Floppy just assuming he is. Oh! Here we go.
We're in go mode. We're in go mode.
5 minutes and 10-ish seconds. We're off to the races.
So there you go. Go mode for Floppy Bacon. And soon will be Professor Pixie once she does end up heading over to the Meyer area.
I mean, she technically is in go mode. This will be a good question to ask her afterwards is, why not just check if you're in go mode? I'd be super curious to hear.
To get
This
a
might
red
be it right
potion out
here.
of the purple chest. So if she does flute over to 7, I believe. 6 rather. Yeah. If she's going to
Oh.
6. Alright, cool.
We've got a race. She's gonna see it and also be like, here we go. Yup. Immediately goes back down. She knows it. Only 1 minute behind and a tiny bit of change. Got both runners knowing they're in go mode.
Both are actually missing 2 dungeons, so by the time they finish up, they'll be in GT. For Floppy's case, all he really needs to do is clear out Skull Woods. But on Professor Pixie's side, she needs to do Pod, and we know that the big key is going to be in the back.
Ooh, that's true. There may need to be some ground gain there, but we're back. Chat asking, is mirror required for swamp? It is indeed. Doesn't matter the mode, could be inverted.
But it actually turned out that it actually ended up being a mirrorless seed for this particular race, and we never had to dip a single pendant dungeon at all.
Mirrorless and pendant dungeonless. That sounds pretty interesting, actually. There's one of the 2 items out of Misery Mire. Not that we're looking for any, but
Just to have a bit of clarification for those who are wondering, you would need the mirror to get in the Swamp Palace, and considering that it's a pendant, it would not be. There's no way that the mirror can show up on PED as a result.
unbeatable, sure, but this isn't beatable.
Yeah, so the thing with beatable is that if you find an item that normally would be inaccessible on the pad, you would know that that you do not need to go into that dungeon at all, because the logic, the placement of the items expects you to find items that are in a way, all the items that are necessary to beat the seed, and not just something like 100% locations or 100% inventory.
See back there making some good use of anti-fairy knowledge. Sprinkling some powder on a skull to get a fairy out of it.
Yeah, that's because there actually is a bunny beam underneath it, and you're able to powder bunny beams that are underneath pots and such. Now, by extension, if both Floppy and Pixie opted to set it up, they would actually they would actually break their spooky state. But I did not see them. I did not see either of them set it up to begin with.
No, they both kind of stood to the left of the portal before they walked into it. So I didn't see the setup for it either. There are other ways to set up spooky, but I would assume like if you have the option available to you to do the most well-known one, you would have done it.
At least for the Vitreous fight, it takes 2 hits on the big eye and then 1 hit of the silver arrows, at least, with just the others, well, the smaller eyes.
There is a reason silver arrows aren't normally available at this point in the vanilla game. Pow! Dead Biddy.
Right, because Meyer ends up being the 6th dungeon, and typically the red crystals end up being ones from out of ice and mire.
Mm-hmm. I'll be going to clear up Skull Woods, and I think after that, they just got to go kill a pig. Oh yeah, you were right. Professor Pixie does have a little bit of ground to make up because of where that big key is located in Pod. But it's not insurmountable.
That's Professor Pixie's 6th crystal. And soon Floppy Bacon will begin his 7th. So, Floppy Bacon's really glad that he's going to be doing this dungeon very quickly, because Skull Woods in general is a pretty quick dungeon. You don't really need to get the big key to clear a moth. Just need a sword and just a fire rod, and you're good.
Yep, and then you can just cruise right on to the back. A few other dungeons like that for, again, those in chat who maybe are new to speedrunning Zelda. There's a few dungeons. You just don't need the big key at all. You don't need it for Skull Woods. You don't need it for Swamp Palace. You don't need it for Ice Palace. You can just cruise through all of those if you're in go mode.
If you were playing randomizer, of course. In the vanilla game, yeah. So that is going to be Floppy Bacon's 7th and final crystal. We're going into GT soon. There are going to be 21 chests and a torch to make up a total of 22 possible locations where the big key does end up being for Gainus Tower. From 1 to 22, get your guesses in chat where you think the big key might be. I'm going to put you on the spot. Where do you think the big key is going to be?
It's going to be number 4.
I'm going to stick with 7.
Stick with 7. Is that like a favorite of yours?
No particular reason, really. Just 7. That's what I'm feeling like today.
Floppy Bacon opting to go the Dark World route up the mountain. I've heard this is actually a little bit quicker if you are really efficient with your quick swap routing. So in this next room that Floppy's going into, if you're able to efficiently switch between Hookshot here and the mirror... Oh, he doesn't have mirror. So this is probably a little bit slower than going up the Light World option. It's
but
still
he's able
like
to do the... But he does do the hookshot clip in here, so that does help.
Ignoring those checks. We don't need you.
Okay, so we're going into GT right now. 21 chests to a torch separates them from getting the big key. Here we go. Going to the right side first into Hope Room. Number 1 is a key. Number 2 is 5 rubies. We're going full rides.
My personal favorite route. I think a lot of people statistically like doing what I believe is Dark Magician. I think that's the one that is most likely going to give you the optimal, like, if you were to run it through a parser like 100 times, like, it's gonna give you the big key the fastest. But like, I personally like this one. It's just straightforward. Just go for it.
With randomizer, you can't really like make these kind of predictions with GT routing. There's a lot of different routes you can take. Some people like to go Hope Room and left. That's my preferred route of choice. Some people like to go full left. Some people like to go full rights. Some people like to do anything in the magician routes.
I mean, I had a race the other day where I went to, I felt so behind. I went to Hope Room, didn't get a small key, and then pivoted to Dark Magician so I could go back to the right side. So yeah, there are so many different ways you can run this dungeon.
Lobby up and take it down for it, because without that mirror, we cannot do anything about this. We're actually on number 6 now. Number 7 is the compass. So if Pixie knows what to do here, she could actually take a stop over to the Harmless Hellway and get over to if she's aware of this, of course.
Yep, looks like she is. I might grab this just in
Okay,
case it gets something super useful, but yep, off she goes.
All right, that is the right call. And there's our big key. I didn't keep track of what that was, and I know that we were at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that right?
Because we were at 7 at Torch, right?
Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
That's right.
The two of you who guessed 12 right there at the end, congratulations, you get fake internet points. You're on Burgundy and the Gremlin.
So at this point, this will be a pretty bog standard GT climb. With silver arrows, these mimics go down in one hit.
clean dash through those spikes right there. But maybe forgot something. Clean dash number
He
2.
said the switch.
Oh. Not the cape. Okay. Cape is a little spooky to see someone switch to because it doesn't immediately activate. You'll sometimes
there's
see
a
runners get
delay.
cheesed by it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely smart to take the safeties here, Floppy.
This is a smart decision. You can get 2 fairies here.
Eat those fairies. No. Yours for the taking.
Now here is where I would use the fire rod. Because these Stompos go down, die immediately to fire rod shots.
Yeah, fire rod shots are an option. Also just picking up the skulls and just chucking them at them. Because they have such a wide radius and don't like cost you anything. That's always an option as well. But this next room, you can already see Floppy starting to quick swap to it. Fire rod right here. Skeleton walks into the flame and kills itself. And that's a
Splash
super...
damage.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's due to the splash damage of the fire rod.
Yeah. And it's a super easy setup for anyone wanting to learn it. It's literally just hold down left as you enter the room, press the fire rod button, skeleton walks into it.
Professor Pixie is off the GT. She will begin the big key. Now, if she does go full left, she will get the big key earlier than what Floppy Bacon had done, where he went up over a full left, or full right, excuse me, rather than full left.
Also opting to go up the dark Death Mountain way.
It makes sense considering considering that it's our only way up the mountain currently. Well, it's a current way that would not involve having to use the hammer.
Oh, right. Well, do we know what Turtle Rock's medallion even is? Oh no, that doesn't matter. I just see most runners go up the Light World way, and then they hammer through the Turtle Rock and then go through. But you're right, that would take a little bit of extra time to hammer down those pegs.
In general, though, the route that's Floppy Bacon and Professor Pixie took is slower because you have to climb up the mountain through Super Bunny Cave.
To chat, our runners are both in go mode. I mean, they're in Ganon's tower, so they have done everything they need to do. Our tracker is doing a fantastic job, but sometimes the software tracker itself just doesn't play nice, and we kind of have to remind it that a runner has done something.
And and Floppy's gonna take a look at Moldorm's last possessions, just 20 rupees as a result. Okay, Professor Pixie is going full left, so she will be getting the big key a little bit earlier than Floppy.
Assuming she doesn't opt for Dark Magician.
Yes.
Oh no, she's going full left. She's killing the skellies.
Okay, cool. So... But as soon as she entered GT, he's already up. Floppy Back is already up onto Aga 2.
We could hope for some fancy Ganon falls, but at this point, yeah, it's Floppy's race to lose.
There's the big key for Professor Pixie.
Pixie?
Huh.
Pixie?
She's actually gonna go out the intent going out a different way. This is actually interesting. She could take a death warp here. Okay, she's actually going straight out. Makes sense because she does it in the mirror.
She going
None of
through
them
this
has an
right door
error.
here? No? Interesting. Learning something new every day. Oh. Oh, did she get the big key?
You did get the big key, yes. That's why
Okay.
she's going out.
I completely missed that.
Yeah, she did have to go full left, and as a result, she does end up going over to. She actually had to leave. Another question I really asked Professor Pixie, just not opting to take the death warp out of that room, because you could just fall down on the pits there and get out.
Fluffy Bacon getting the torch glitch there, opting not to do any shenanigans with the silver arrows too early.
Really, silver arrows, having torch glitch is more so not really necessary for the silver's fight. It's you could just, especially considering that both players have half magic. If anything, it just adds. It's just a little bit of an extra thing to make the fight a little bit quicker, but not necessarily worth it.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
All right, Floppy Bacon. Don't fail us now. Don't walk off the edge. Walk across the bridge, and then we can have some GGs in chat. Floppy Bacon. As of right now.
We'll do it. GG's in the chat for Floppy Bacon. He's going to take first on the restream of an official race time, that GG time of 1:16:01. That's good enough for 4th place overall, with Joss Bleeden being 3rd with a time of 1:15:13, DJ Darkwing D with a time of 1:14:22, and Laggy with a time of 1:08:57, taking the gold in this community race.
Speedsters, all of them.
Let's see if we can get Floppy Bacon in for an interview.
And while we wait for that to happen, we still got Professor Pixie running. Gonna finish up very shortly as she does her gauntlet.
So this seed in general was very nice. In a way, it actually ends up being a jet seed just because of the fact that we didn't have to go into any penny dungeons, and we actually had all of our items right at nearly at the very start of the game. Just looking at all we were looking for at the very end was just seeing what Myra's medallion was, and stars lined up, and it just ended up being quick.
Yeah, and it didn't really seem to matter which way you approach the seed, as we saw both of our runners took drastically different approaches. We saw one go up the mountain super early, we saw one hit Dark World around the same time, or earlier rather, and they still came up very close to each other, finding all the right items around the same time. It really, in this particular case for our restream, it came down to just who would check Meyer first to see if they were in go mode.
I do say that this actually is a community race. We have 9 other participants. We have 9 participants in total, and we still have 5 others, including Professor Pixie, still racing.
Doing a little dance around that fire snake spinny friend.
My hunch is she's opting to take this a little bit safer. Okay, she's gonna play it safe here, sticking the magic refill in this room. Now, if you go up the stairs while the jingle goes off at the same time, you actually despawn all the sprites in Ganon's tower, and that means you would have to just do a complete reset of the dungeon in order to at least continue. and that's something I haven't seen in quite a while, admittedly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in quite a while, and let's be serious. I know you guys all love watching our runners run and play a Link to the Past randomizer for you, but we don't want to watch that much more. We don't want to watch them go up Ganon's Tower climb again, as much as you love this.
Yeah, it's not fun at all, and it was like on our pedestal, it just ended up being a shield. And Pixie also gonna plunder Moldorm's last possessions.
They never did find a single shield, did they, huh?
No, never.
Who needs them? Or armor. Good call, Tracker. Tracker Ken.
Yeah, there was no armor upgrades or shield upgrades. It goes to show how quick this seed really ended up being. In a way, Professor Pixie is going to end up with actually NMG health and equipment. A plus a bit, plus more.
One of those ag cycles there. Get them down all the same. And we're off to see our second dead pig on tonight's restream. Maybe go in to grab some safeties. There is a ferry you can bonk out of this tree down here. There it is.
Yeah, good game knowledge.
That good game knowledge. And when you've only got that one bottle for safety and green mail, yeah, you take it when whatever makes you feel like you're gonna get this done. Interesting bug facts coming from Ganon. Gotta smack Ganon 12 times in that first phase, but we're into second phase now. As soon as Ganon raised his trident to spin it around. Ooh, good positioning.
Yeah, I can just go wail on Ganon with just many. Paul the cape. Oh, he's got a red potion. She's got a red potion. All right, fair enough. Oh, she never did find the cape. What do you know?
It seems like she's opting, as opposed to Floppy, to start with the silver arrows rather than setting up the torch glitch right away. A little spicy there, but now we're going to go for the torch glitch. Perfect. And there we have it. Unless Professor Pixie falls victim to the hardest thing in the game, crossing this 3x1 bridge, get your GGs in chat.
The other way around, but still. GG's in the chat for Professor Pixie. Gonna end up second on our restream with an official race time, that GG time of 1:24:04 in 5th place overall. Just behind Floppy Pig.
Well run, the both of you. I know Floppy never hopped into interview chat, but that's well run. Oh, there you are. Bobby will be joining us soon. Seems like.
In here in chat.
Hello, Floppy Bacon. GG's, well run.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, this seemed like a really fun seed to run. Like, no matter how you routed it, not you specifically, but like no matter how it was routed, it just seemed like everything just came together so nicely. You know,
Yeah.
looking at your time on the screen right now, I know that's not the official time. You finished around like an hour 16:01, I think it was. Those seeds are always so
was I
fun to
choppy?
play.
Was my
Yeah.
stream all laggy for you guys?
Not
You're
that
fine.
I noticed.
Okay, good. Sometimes it is.
You're perfectly
no,
fine.
I agree. Like every turn you made, it looked like you were getting some kind of progress. But the flippers came up really early, and I saw that swamp and ice were both pendants, and I knew the logic wanted to do something with it, but I kept waiting and waiting because I went Zora money before I went and did that, and it just turns out that.
Oh,
Hello, Professor Pixie. GG's.
hello! Oh, wow. That was so fast!
That was a jet seed.
Yeah. Let me, hang on.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how you actually routed this. As soon as you got the big key, what was your thought process behind actually leaving through the way you came, all the way up to the top, all the start to climb, since you had no other way to use the mirror?
I didn't have the mirror.
Oh, you could actually opt to just take a fall, like in that room, in the fire snake room, or death. Just take a death work that way.
Hang on.
I had 2 death works in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, we did see that. Yeah, because you went right side first.
I think
Yeah.
I think it was mostly because I was already so high health that, like, taking the fall at that point would have probably taken too long.
It was an in-the-moment decision. This race is going so fast that, like, how can I get back to the front the quickest? You know, I'm just gonna hook shot my way back to the front.
Yeah. It was
That's
pretty
fair
much
enough.
that.
Did anyone find an armor upgrade?
Nope.
Neither of you ever found an armor upgrade. Neither of you ever found a shield. It looks like.
Nope.
I think I forget where. I think I saw a shield, but just skipped it because I mean, who cares?
I don't think I ever even saw a shield.
If you look at Professor Pixie's stream right now, it is right there.
On
pedestal.
Wait. What?
Yep, it ended up being on pedestal.
There was a
Yeah.
shield on the pedestal.
Yeah. If we saw another one, it's very possible, and we just missed it because, like, we don't really care about shields, but there was one of them.
I'm just glad I actually... See, I'm just glad I actually did Smith Chain because Silverless would have taken a lot longer. That definitely would have taken longer.
The boots on Desert Ledge was kind of funny for a boots-locked desert. Did that.
Yeah, I was
It's hilarious.
on stream. I was like, oh, well, they're going to go check out Desert. We don't know if it's actually beatable. And then chat called me out. They're like, Slumberjack boots were right there on Desert Ledge. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess they're beating it now.
Yeah, it's like, See, when I grabbed the book, I had the intention of going up Death Mountain. But then I was like, I can check Desert instead. There's 2 things in there. It was basically a 2 and 2, really. Plus, if it's not boots locked, I can actually complete Desert for another crystal. And then I saw the boots on Desert Ledge and literally burst out laughing.
Yeah, I want to say that was one of the major points where the two of you diverged, because you went to Desert, and I believe Floppy, you went into Dark World around that time. Did you have any reason for wanting to do Dark World? Because I believe, other than the
I don't think
Desert was most accessible, do you just have a preference for doing Dark World early, or?
I don't think I had the. I didn't have the book for a while, so I didn't do Desert because I couldn't get in it.
Where was the book?
I forget. I kind of got the book like kind of midway in the seed.
Okay, that would do it.
So I think I did the book after Palace of Darkness.
Book was. Oh, I forget where I grabbed
On the
the book.
mushroom.
Ah, yeah.
That's what
Book
it was.
on the
It was
mushroom.
Mushroom, yeah.
Because I grabbed the flute and I was like, okay, do powder, mushroom, then go to the mountain. The book was on the mushroom and I was like, and we're rerouting to desert.
Yeah, that
The
was
flippers
it.
were Hype Cave, right?
The silver arrows ended up being in the Hype Cave as well as the Quake.
Okay, right.
Which was needed
Mushroom
for
was pretty
Meyer.
early. Yeah. Mushroom was early. I don't remember where it went.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was.
All I can say,
super early.
Anytime you don't have to dip a pendant dungeon, you have a good seed.
Yeah, you didn't have to go into a single pendant dungeon, which is really nice.
Oh, that is always nice, especially.
I didn't have access to a pendant dungeon for the longest time, until I was practically go mode.
Especially when those pendant dungeons are Swamp Palace, which takes a hot minute to even get into, and Turtle Rock. Like, if you can avoid those two, clutch.
If I consider it a good seed if I can afford Turtle Rock.
Same.
Well, if you have any other final thoughts on the seed, please go ahead and sound off.
I think optimal routing would have been just jumping. Like I had to, if I went with my gut instinct and jumped in with the flippers and checked my flipper check. That would have been, because I think I did full clear of pod after that, and then I just routed in a bunch of other stuff that came up first. So early flippers was the play on that seed.
Yeah.
Well said.
About all I could say is I did not like that GT climb. That was not very kind to me.
Oh no? I didn't notice anything too suspicious about it. I did see some fun dancing around that spinning fire snake in the 4 torch room, but otherwise it seems like you did perfectly well on there.
Well, to me, I think it's more of an in-the-moment thing. To me, it felt like I was messing up on almost every room.
Whatever you clocked in at the end, that's a solid time, regardless.
That's my best time yet for this particular setting.
Nice.
Oh well,
Congratulations
congratulations
on a
to you.
PB.
It's always good to have that one seed where you got that solid like sub 125 to be like, yeah, I can do it. I am totally capable of just like blowing a seed to the ground. It's always a really feel good when you do it for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and looking at the race results, things like it seems like a lot of the top people who ended up being near the top cut ended up with a pretty low time. So they did an excellent job there.
Oh yeah.
Well, GG's to you. We're gonna have to shut this off eventually, but GG's to both of you, and I hope to see you in future races.
Thank you, you guys. Thanks for your streamers. Thanks trackers. Thanks comms. Great job, everyone.
Oh yes. Thank you. This was fun.
glad you had a good time. Thank you as well for volunteering yourselves to be spectated and commentated on. Well run, GGs, and you two have a good night, and we're going to start closing down the stream.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Okay, so you heard it from them. Please give a good shout out to our race streamers here. We have Floppy Bacon and Professor Pixie on board here. Definitely give them a follow. They definitely deserve it after such an incredible run here. Also give shout out to our crew. We had Link to the Past Ken doing our tracking. Again, Unsung Heroes. Very well done for Ken. My co-commentator was Slumberjack. You did an amazing job as well.
Oh, why, thank you. And yes, and thank you for stepping up and co-commentating with me tonight. Always a pleasure, and to everybody out there, thank you for tuning in and hanging out and being a part of this awesome community, the Link to Past Randomizer community. I think that's going to be it from all of us here on Speed Gaming. So, unless you have any other closing comments, Professor, I think we're going to wish you all a good night, and again, Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Definitely follow the Speed Gaming channels if you want a bit more. If you want to watch a bit more randomizer action. Now is a good time to be a part of the randomizer community because we do have a couple of league matches. We're actually nearing the end of season 3. We have our playoffs going on. We definitely want to also follow the Speed Gaming channels because we will be doing another one of these tomorrow at 2 p.m. So definitely want to stay on up to date with that. But until then, from Slumberjack, Link to the Past Ken, and myself, and from everyone from Speed Gaming, I wish you all a good night and take it easy.